Hey guys, my name is Gabby. Welcome back to my channel. Happy Valentine's Day. I thought since it's Valentine's Day, it would only be appropriate for me to recommend you some of my favorite romances of all time. In the past, I've done a lot of different romance recommendation kind of videos, which I will link below if you're interested in seeing any of those, but I've realized I've never made an all-time favorites romance video. I made an all-time favorite books video a while back. It's just not possible for me to narrow down a video of my all-time favorite books ever, like of anything. So I thought it'd be easier to just break it down by genre, to say like, these are my favorite romances, these are my favorite thrillers, these are my favorite contemporaries, you know, like stuff like that. And so I thought, why not start with romances since it's Valentine's Day? These are my 13 favorite romances that I've ever read. I read a lot of romance, okay? It's one of my favorite genres. I read it all the time, at least once a month. I've read romance a lot for these past couple years. But these are the 5-star romances, the ones that made me feel so incredibly giddy and happy and just like so content. And I wanted to say too that these are specifically romance genre books, so I'm not like picking couples in like books like historical fiction or like, you know, other genres that I really enjoyed. I'm just picking, like, these are my favorite books that are actually romance genre books. Also, disclaimer, these aren't necessarily my favorite couples and OTPs of all time, because that could be another video entirely, and it probably will be in the upcoming future, but these are specifically my favorite romance novels, which means I loved the hell out of the couple and both of the main characters. I loved the hell out of the writing and the banter and the chemistry and just everything about the entire book was up to scale. Like, it had great supporting characters, it had a great plot and story, and it was interesting. Just like everything about the book was fantastic. So without further ado, let's just jump into my favorite romance novels of all time. Alright, the first one, I actually don't have it with me at the moment because I'm letting my mom borrow it to read it. That's how much I loved it, and that is The Hating Game by Sally Thorne. Is anybody surprised? No. This one is a hate-to-love, slow burn romance that follows Josh and Lucy, and they both work for the same book publisher, and they're both competing to get this promotion over each other, and it's an office romance, and it is just the best. If you've heard everyone and their mom recommending this book to you, it's because it's literally the best. Josh and Lucy's banter is Chanel and everything else is Walmart. The Hating Game basically invented hate-to-love romance, so okay, I kid, but seriously, The Hating Game. If you haven't read it, like, are you even a fan of romance novels? Like, my second favorite romance novel of all time is Birthday Girl by Penelope Douglas. This is a very forbidden slow burn romance. You'll see a common theme throughout my favorite romance novels of all time. They're usually either very slow burn romances or they're forbidden romances. I mean, I have a lot of different tropes that I really enjoy, but forbidden is definitely one of them. Jordan is one of my favorite female characters of all time, and Pike is, oh my god, one of my favorite male love interests ever. Like, I really just adore Pike. This story is super forbidden because Jordan is dating Cole, who is Pike's son. She's 19 and Pike is 34, I want to say. So the story starts with her not knowing that Pike is Cole's dad, and then Cole gets arrested, and then she has to go like with him, and she realizes that this guy that she just met is Cole's dad. Cole and Jordan have to move back into his dad's house because of his arrest. It's just so amazing and so great, and their chemistry is like unreal, and it's just like, it's one of my favorite romances ever. I love them both so much. Number 3 is It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover, because Atlas is literally one of my favorite characters of all time, and I really love Lily Bloom and her flower shop in Boston. The story has a really interesting love triangle going on too between Lily Bloom and Ryle, who's a doctor. Oh my god, this is like one of the most heart-wrenching romance stories I've ever read. Like, this one will make you cry. But seriously though, Atlas is everything. I freaking love him. He's such a soft little baby angel. Number 4 is The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren. This is my most recent read out of all of these. This book is an arc actually that doesn't come out until May, so you'll have to read this when it comes out in May because this shit is so good. So this story follows this girl named Olive who has a twin sister named Amy, and her twin sister Amy is getting married to this guy named Dane, and Dane has this brother named Ethan who Olive cannot stand. And so this is like a hate to love romance. It has a fake relationship trope in it. At Amy and Dane's wedding, their entire wedding party gets food poisoning except for Olive and Ethan, and so Amy and her husband want to give Amy and Ethan their honeymoon trip because it's like a non-refundable trip and they can't go because of their food poisoning. And so then we get Olive and Ethan going on this trip together, and they have to pretend to be a married couple so that they can actually go on the trip and like not get caught in it. And oh my god, it's just the best. It's so good, and their banter is so on point, and it's just so cute. So cute. Number 5 is The Simple Wild by K.A. Tucker. Jonah and Calla are the cutest, and this book takes place in Alaska, and Jonah is a pilot. There's also this really beautiful story happening between Calla and her dad, who is like possibly dying of cancer. And oh my god, this book, I've mentioned it a few times that it kind of is like The Last Song but in Alaska, and Jonah is just like the best male love interest to me because he's like one of those guys that you can't stand at first. Like, he's such an asshole at first, but then you get to know him and he's so soft and nice on the inside and just so cute. Number 6 is Him by Serena Bowen and Elle Kennedy. This is my first male romance on this list. This is literally my favorite LGBT romance of all time. I freaking love Jamie and Wes so much. They're both hockey players who went to the same hockey camp when they were 13 years old, and they've been best friends, and now they're both returning to the same hockey camp as coaches, and they're in their early 20s. Feelings start to happen for each other, and it's the fucking best. I've reread this book once already, and it's just the actual cutest shit ever. I love Jamie and Wes so much. They're like some of my favorite fictional characters of all time. I'm gonna say that a lot in this video, but you know, you already knew that. Number 7 is The Butterfly Project by Emma Scott. This book is so underrated, but it is so good, and it takes place in New York City, and it follows this guy named Beckett who has recently got out of prison for something terrible that happened, and then it follows this girl named Zelda who writes graphic novels. Her graphic novels are inspired by something that happened to her sister. Like, her sister was actually abducted by this child predator. Her graphic novels are about this like superhero that stops child predators. They're just like these two broken people that just like find hope in each other again, and it's like the most beautiful goddamn shit ever, and I just adore Beckett and Zelda so much. Like, I'm dying to reread this because it's just so good. Number 8 on my list is Egomaniac by V. Keeland. This one is an office romance, and it's a slow burn, and there's banter, and this one's really great. This one actually does remind me a lot of The Hating Game as well, just because it's like an office and they're like bantery. This one's really great because it follows Drew and Emery, and Drew is a divorce attorney and Emery is a marriage counselor, and they share an office space. So you can imagine that they butt heads a little bit because they have very different views on marriage, or at least, you know, helping people either, you know, end their marriage or like try to get through their marriage. You know, it's just very entertaining shit. This story just has so many twists and turns, and it's just so great. Right, number 9 on my list is Unteachable by Leah Rader. This author now goes by Elliot Wake. Literally one of my favorite romances of all time. I mean, you know that because you're watching this, but like, oh my god. So this book is a student-teacher romance between this girl named Macy, who's 18, and her film teacher in high school named Evan. It begins at a carnival ride during the summertime before she knows that he's gonna be her teacher. This book is written so beautifully. Like, this book is one of my favorite romances of all time, not just because I love the relationship, but because of the writing. Like, this book is the most lyrical, beautiful ass written book ever, and it has some of my favorite book quotes of all time in here. Like, I love the hell out of this book, and I'm a huge lover of film, so it was also really cool to see a film teacher, and like, they talk about movies a lot, and it was just really great. And so this book is just everything. I love it so much. Right, number 10 is The Wall of Winnipeg and Me. This one is the slowest burn of all burns, and it is also hate to love, and there's also a fake relationship trope in this. This one's just got all my favorite tropes. This one follows Aiden and Vanessa, and he is a Canadian NFL vegan football player, and she's his assistant. They're just total opposites, but they're just so cute together because he's just like this huge giant football player crazy dude, and she's just this like very sassy small human, and they're just like so cute. Like, this book made me so happy and so giddy when I read this. It was ridiculous. Number 11 on my list is Josh and Hazel's Guide to Not Dating by Christina Lauren. This is like more of like a friends to lovers slow burn romance. It follows this girl named Hazel who's an elementary school teacher in Portland, Oregon. She's very strange and quirky. She honestly reminds me a lot of Jess from New Girl. Like, this book gives me hella New Girl vibes. Hazel is basically Jessica Day from New Girl, which I just love. She's so quirky and adorable and strange and relatable. And then her love interest Josh in this book is Korean, and he's amazing and so soft. The premise of this book is that they're setting each other up on all these really terrible dates, but they don't know that they're gonna be terrible, but they're trying not to date each other by setting each other up on all these really shitty dates, and then they just end up going home together every time. The cutest. Right, number 12 on my list is Junkie by Cambria Hebert. This is the second male-male romance that's on this list. One of my favorite male-male couples. It follows Drew and Trent, and they are best friends. This is definitely like a friends to lovers romance, and it's also very forbidden because Drew is an indie racer, which is like basically like NASCAR in this book. He doesn't want to be out of the closet because his sport is very like masculine and just like, you know, all those kinds of things. Trent is the president of his frat house, so there's also that like masculine issue there, whatever, you know, that kind of thing. So they both don't want to be out of the closet, and they both don't even know that they have these feelings for each other, and it's like the slowest burn of a romance, and it's just so cute. Like, Drew and Trent are one of my favorite male-male couples ever. They're just like, they're so cute, and this book is just so cute. Alright, and the last book, the 13th book that I have to recommend to you that is one of my all-time favorite romance novels is The Deal by Elle Kennedy. Sports romance, it's a hockey romance, and it has the fake relationship trope in this book as well. It's fantastic. So we're following Garrett and Hannah in this book. Garrett is a hockey player, so he's using Hannah to tutor him so that he gets better grades so he can stay on the hockey team. And Hannah wants to use Garrett to make this other guy that she wants to be with jealous, so they decide to get into this like fake relationship together whenever this guy's around. The cutest. It's one of my favorite like college romances because it's just written so well and it's so funny, and these characters binge watch Breaking Bad together, which is like relationship goals in my opinion. Yeah, this book just has it all. They're so cute. Like, I haven't read this book in a hot minute. Like, it's been a couple years since I read this, but I still remember how happy this book made me when I read it. It's just, it's the best. It's the cutest. So those are all of my favorite romance novels of all time. I'm sorry if this video got a little bit repetitive of me being like, these characters are the best, or they're just so cute, but you know, that's kind of the point. Let me know what some of your favorite romance novels of all time are. If you didn't see some on this list that you're surprised about, like Aristotle and Dante or something like that, it's because those books aren't romance genre books, if you know what I mean. They're like young adult contemporary books. Like, as much as I love the romance in them, they're not romance genre books. Does that make sense? I don't even know if that makes sense. Thank you guys so much for watching as always. Let me know what your thoughts are on any of these books, like if some of these are also your favorite romance novels of all time, or if you're thinking about reading any of these now. Thank you guys so much for watching as always. I will see you guys next time with a new video.